5 Grizzly True Crimes Exposed. This is Mr. H with Masked Horror. Let's get into it. 1. The Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer is our first grisly true crime story. The Zodiac Killer and his or her grisly crimes is an unidentified serial killer who operated in Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. This killer's identity remains unknown despite numerous investigations. The Zodiac Killer taunted police and the public with cryptic letters, some of which included complex ciphers that have yet to be fully decoded. The case remains one of America's most infamous unsolved mysteries. 2. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was an American serial killer who assaulted and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 1970s. Bundy was known for his charisma and good looks, which he used to lure his victims. He escaped from custody twice before his final capture and was executed in 1989. His case drew significant media attention and remains one of the most studied in criminology. 3. The Manson Family Murders. Led by Charles Manson, the Manson family was a cult that committed a series of murders in the summer of 1969. The most notorious was the murder of actress Sharon Tate and 4 others at Tate's home in Los Angeles. Manson and several of his followers were convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Manson's manipulative control over his followers and the brutal nature of the murderers shocked the nation. 4. The Jonestown Massacre. In 1978, Jim Jones, the leader of the People's Temple cult, orchestrated a mass murder-suicide at the Jonestown settlement in Guyana. Over 900 people died after drinking cyanide-laced punch in what became one of the largest mass deaths in American history. Jones had established a cult-like community in Guyana and maintained strict control over his followers through psychological manipulation and threats. 5. The Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway. Gary Ridgway, known as the Green River Killer, was one of America's most prolific serial killers, active in the 1980s and 1990s. Ridgway was convicted of murdering 49 women, although he confessed to killing at least 71. His victims were often runaways and sex workers, whom he lured with promises of money or transportation. Ridgway would strangle them and dispose of their bodies in remote wooded areas around the Green River near Seattle, Washington. He was arrested in 2001 after DNA evidence linked him to several of the murderers and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Ridgway's case is notable for the length of time he evaded capture and the sheer number of his victims. Follow for more.